Good day, guys. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the latest comics I've been reading, and I'm just going to have a quick chat about it and why I'm reading them, and sort of the thing that motivated me to read them and how they are impacting me personally. So the first one I'm going to talk about is, well, the author technically that I've been reading is Daniel Warren Johnson, and I'm just going to just quickly do a brief look at who Daniel Warren Johnson is. He's a comic book writer, artist, and illustrator, and he's a Chicago-based comic book writer, artist, and illustrator. His creator-owned title, Dual Powerbomb, was met with popular and critical acclaim, netting him an Eisner Award for Best Publication for Teens. His other work includes titles such as Extremity, Mother Falcon, Beta Ray Bill, Transformers, Space Mullet, Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, and more. He has worked with many clients including DC Comics, Marvel Comics, Wizard of the Coast, and others. Daniel has a YouTube channel and he updates regularly. So I recently just heard about this author, and it was a friend of mine, like the guy who I'm also working on my comic book with, and he just because there's a fight scene in my comic that I'm supposed to work on, and he just liked the energy that Daniel Warren Johnson puts into the Absolute Batman Annual. You can check it out, Absolute Batman Annual, and there are fight scenes there that are really energetic, and that just made me to take notice of his art. And I've actually seen his art somewhere because there was a page, people on X usually post comics, and I try to like as many comic book posts that I see on X so that it can kind of adjust my algorithm so I can be seeing a lot of comic books and stuff. And there was a fight scene, but I didn't know where it was from, and I didn't know the artist. And it was about Wonder Woman and Superman. They were just having a fight, and the fight scene was so energetic, and I just loved the art style. And I just saved that page. I just saved that particular page because it was a post that someone made, and I don't think I remember the artist's name because I just liked the art. Most of these times I just like the art and save the image into my phone. So that was I believe my first encounter with Daniel Warren Johnson's art. And it was not until I actually began working on this particular issue of my comic, then there was a scene that I wanted to work on and I needed inspiration. And then I looked at, my friend told me about Absolute Batman that recently came out, and then he told me, and then I just sort of connected the dots, and I just figured out that that scene between Superman and Wonder Woman was actually also done by Daniel Warren Johnson. And so it made me to first of all check out Wonder Woman Dead Earth. So that was his first work that I've seen, and I really enjoyed it. I can't lie, it was so much fun. The art is good, the art is energetic. He has this really good talent for drawing movement, and he's also good at drawing monsters as well, very unique monsters. It's so cool. I'm even seeing it in Mother Falcon, which is actually what I'm currently reading. The thing I notice about Daniel Warren Johnson is that his art style makes me it just inspires me to draw as well. I think apart from all these refined artists, his art style actually makes me want to draw. It makes me want to just execute, regardless of how shitty my art might be, right? And the way he draws something, you just see that he has multiple stories at the back of his head, and he just can't wait to just execute. So if you are someone that's having some sort of art block, if you just take a look at Daniel Warren Johnson's art, I'm telling you, you'll feel inspired. You feel you can actually there should be nothing holding you back. As no matter how shitty you feel your art is, because of how he draws, for some weird reason, you just feel it's really good to just get that story out there, because he's a really talented, really skilled artist. Sometimes I hate using that word talented, but he's a really skilled artist, and because of how consistently he puts out work, his art gets better and better and better and better and better and better. For whatever reason, his art's already good, but it just keeps getting better and better with every single work. So sorry, I'm just rambling here, but I really enjoyed his work, and I just I don't have like a set way, like properly organized way on how to talk about videos like this. So I'm just going to talk about like I've done, like I've read Wonder Woman Dead Earth. Then what I moved on to was Space Mullet. Space Mullet is an episodic comic about a washed up ex-space marine trucker named Jonah and his alien co-pilot Alpheus. Together they do their best and usually fail to do good throughout the galaxy. So that's just like a brief synopsis of the entire gist of the story, and I really had fun with this. I enjoyed it. It was creative, it was energetic. There was like a fun scene in this story where I think he went to like somewhere around Mars or something, and there was sort of like this mini tournament where there was like this skating there was like a skating tournament, something like a skating racing tournament, where like, but it was a lot more brutal, but because they'll have to like clobber themselves and things like that. But it was just so fun to see. It was a very creative like take on like fusing different sports together, and it was so cool to see. It's just like a fun adventure series that you can just check out. Really fun. He did it in black and white. I don't know if there's like a colored version or something. He did it in black and white. I actually think I haven't finished it. I think I have like 3 or 4 issues to go to complete it, but I then jumped to another story. The next one I actually jumped into was Duo Powerbomb. He did an interview with Comic Tropes, I believe, and they were talking about like just talking about creativity, talking about art in general, and he was talking about he was talking about like actually how he got into wrestling, and how it was like due to the fact that he was like trying to nurse his child into like to sleep, like at night maybe his child would be crying, and then he nursed his child to sleep. And during that time, a lot of the time, he would be sitting in the sitting room, he would be at the sitting room, and he would be watching like wrestling, just put something on so that like while he's singing to his child or trying to cool his child to sleep, and he'll be watching it. And that was how he sort of like got into wrestling and stuff like that. And it sort of like inspired him to do the story, do a power bomb. And this was the story that he actually won an Eisner award for. Everything changes when a wrestling obsessed necromancer asks her to join the grandest pro wrestling tournament of all time, which is also the most dangerous. It's the wrestler meets Dragon Ball Z in a tale where the competitors get more than they ever bargained for. So it's about a young lady who actually wants to become a wrestler. Her mom was the greatest wrestler of all time, and something unfortunate happened to her. And there's a like necromancer who, believes he can do something for her, and he sort of brings her into like a tournament that he's hosting, where people from different parts or different dimensions, they come in and they compete for the ultimate reward, which the necromancer himself is going to give. And I just really liked it. I liked the dynamic between the two major characters. You have to check it for yourself, because I don't want to have to spoil it, because that's just wrong. So I just like the entire scene. I like the fight scenes. I've actually not watched a lot of. I liked the take on like how he took like something such as wrestling, and he just made it interesting. He just added a twist to it. He has this knack for taking something that he likes and just adding a little bit of twist to it and making it like an epic adventure story. I don't know how he does it, but it's just so cool. Like, he likes wrestling, he does do a power bomb, he's into music, he does Murder Falcon, which is also about music, but it's also an action series as well, and it's so fun. I'm having a lot of fun with that one as well. But this is just like a very amazing story. You can check it out. I personally, like, my central focus is usually on the art, because I look at an artist's art style and I see how can I incorporate that into my art. His panel work is amazing. Like, his panel work is phenomenal in this dual power bomb. Like, there's so much to learn. There are times where I just felt like maybe I should just stop reading and just like copy a panel that he did, so that I could properly register it into my head and I would remember it. Because the way he's so creative with his panel work, the way I think he has a letterer, but I don't know if he does his lettering himself, but the lettering is just phenomenal. Like, the lettering is part of the art. Like the lettering is not like something exclusive that is just like, oh, let's just add the lettering so that like we can just tell the story. No, the lettering is the art. The lettering is part of the art. The same way the inking is part of the art, the lettering is genuinely part of the art. It's part of the story. It's amazing. It's so creative the way he does it. His panel work is phenomenal. Yeah, so check out the Dope album. The next one I went on to was after Space Mullet was Extremity. Extremity is so good. Extremity. I think this was the one I had the most fun with because I really like adventure stories, like all these stories where they have like big monsters and things like that. There's this grand war between clans, and but all he did is like he made it like as if it's sort of like in space, kind of like a space opera for whatever reason, and he mixed like adventure, but they use swords, like they use guns at the same time. It's just so interesting. Like there are monsters, there's clans, disputes, but it's just ultimately all about like revenge, and like it's about like a girl and her father, or a family rather. They are trying to get revenge on another clan that sort of like ruined their family and ruined their home, and yeah, they are just trying to get revenge on that clan, on that previous clan. So it said there is a ferocious battles between man, machines, and monsters ahead. Who knows where her quest for vengeance will take her? Creator Daniel Warren Johnson and colorist Mike Spencer. Actually, if this is his colorist, I might have to check this guy out because the coloring in this work is beautiful. Like it complements. I actually think colorists are really underrated because the way they make a work, a piece, just pop out. Like I'm telling you, like even if you're like a terrible artist and you have a good colorist, there's a somehow that colorist can actually advance your art, can make your art like go just another level, even if you are like completely trash. It's a really wonderful and beautiful piece of art, beautiful work, and yeah, like it's just nice. This is something I could see getting like a movie, like an animated movie. I could see this getting an animated movie, or even like a mini series, maybe like a six episode movie series. This is something I can see getting. In fact, all his stories I can see them getting like a one season mini series, something like that. The stories are really wonderful, and I actually hope to do something like this someday because he is really inspiring. Like if you if you are frustrated with your art, if you think that your art, if you are you're seeing all this perfect art around the world, and like you go online and you're always seeing this amazing artist, and you feel like you necessarily need to always make your art perfect for you to have like for you to be able to create a good story, just look at Daniel Warren Johnson's art. Why I like his art is that he understands his skill, like he's skilled, like he has spent years honing his craft, right? But at the same time, he doesn't try to make his art perfect. He can, but he doesn't try to make it perfect every single time. You can see that because there was a clip I watched, there was a YouTube video I watched where someone was actually analyzing Daniel Warren Johnson's approach to actually working on a panel, and they were talking about how a lot of the times he doesn't try to settle for less or settle for like the simple option, right? He erases over and over and over again. He works on it over and over again, makes a lot of mistakes, but he still struggles, right? It's still a battle for him to actually create most panels and most pages. Yeah, but irregardless of that, what I see in his art is someone that just enjoys creating, right? He enjoys the battle, he enjoys not the stress necessarily, but he has so much ideas and he just wants to put it out there, and he doesn't need the art to be perfect for it to happen. And I believe that's just the truth, and that's sort of like the same approach I'm taking with my own comic. I've always like wanted, because my focus is the art, not necessarily the story. Like of course I care about the story, but like I'm doing the art, like I just transfer the responsibilities of the story to someone a lot better than me at writing stories, so that I can just focus on the art. But it doesn't still make the art process less difficult because you are not focusing on the story. So I still have to learn to not be so perfect with whatever like page that or whatever panel that I'm doing. I have to like focus on progress rather than perfection. It's something I try to ingrain in my central nervous system so that I can consistently put out work as often as possible. It's something that I've struggled with, but it's something I'm going to improve at. And that is like sort of like whenever I see an artist like Daniel Warren Johnson, he's just like a breath of fresh air to me because of how consistent, how consistently he puts out work, and how much quality they still are regardless. So and Space Mullet is one of the stories that actually inspired me a lot because he just something he just decided to do, and he was just working, like he just did his inks, and he didn't necessarily need for it to have colors or like fancy whatever for it to actually be out there. So check out Daniel Warren Johnson. He has done amazing stories. I've actually read, because he worked on Transformers, so I've actually read some parts of like the Transformers series that he has worked on. I've read, I think I've read like 4 chapters or 4 issues rather of the story. Really nice art. I'm going to go back, and that was like sort of like when I was a bit scattered brain. I was just like touching every single part of his art, like trying to like just get a grasp and feel of who this artist is and what he's about. So like I said, he has a YouTube channel. I will try and be binging like some of his videos, like maybe in the background. I'll just play it whilst I walk. Listen, he even released a video of recent. I'll really check this out and probably see what I can learn, even in terms of like making YouTube videos. Maybe I could learn a thing or two from him, like based on like how he's documenting his process and his whole approach towards making comic books. I just believe there's a lot I can learn from him. He also did Absolute Batman. Did I talk about that? He did Absolute Batman, and that was really cool. Yeah, anyways guys, that's just it for this video. It was a ramble, but that is I don't know, I just don't have the time to just organize this in a proper professional way. But hopefully you check out Daniel Warren Johnson. For the one person that sees this, hopefully check out Daniel Warren Johnson. And if you're a comic book artist, please keep creating comics. Yeah, they are definitely, your work is definitely going to be seen by people, right? Don't stop creating. Try and as much as possible to improve your art and your craft as much as possible. That's what this channel is about. I'm documenting my growth process. I'm documenting the things I'm learning. I'm documenting the things I like about like comic books. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.